The African Union is launching a campaign called Correct the Map, and this is to fix how the world literally sees Africa. For centuries, maps have lied to us. They've shrunk Africa down to look smaller, marginal, and insignificant, when in truth, Africa is actually the second largest continent on Earth, bigger than the US, bigger than China, India, Japan, and most of Europe combined. So one thing's for sure, this is not about geography, but this is about power, about perception, and how we see ourselves as Africans. Now, the most common map used today is the Mercator projection, and it was created back in 1569 by Gerardus Mercator during the very era of slave trade and colonization. It was basically designed for sailors to navigate trade routes, including things like triangular trade that carried enslaved Africans across the Atlantic. But here's the problem. The Mercator map distorts size. It makes countries near the poles, like Greenland and Europe, look enormous, while shrinking regions like Africa and South America. Now, on the Mercator, Africa looks slightly larger than Greenland, but in reality, Africa is 15 times bigger, which is actually 30 million square kilometers compared to Greenland's 2 million. This isn't a mistake. This right here is deliberate, and it is a way to make Africa look smaller, less significant, and less powerful. Let's watch this.
We really wanted to make sure that we picked and that we pushed for the use of the projection that was the closest to reality. So for us, I think that beyond everything, we very much want people to know that there are alternatives to the Mercator projection.
Now, the African Union is finally saying enough. Vice President of the AU Commission explained that this distortion fuels the false idea of a marginal Africa. The AU wants to change how maps are drawn, replacing the Mercator projection with the Equal Earth projection, which was actually developed in 2018. And the Equal Earth map shows the true proportions of continents, which is Africa being restored to its rightful scale. Now, the campaign, supported by groups like Africa No Filter and Speak Up Africa, aims to get African schools, governments, and global organizations to actually adopt this model. The World Bank has already started using Equal Earth for some of its maps. And this right here, I think, is a psychological warfare. And Africa is finally fighting back. And some would ask, right, why do we care about maps? But it's because what we teach our children shapes their worldview. When young Africans open school atlas and see their continent drawn small, overshadowed by Europe, what does that send? That the continent is minor, is marginal, and it is unimportant? But when you see Africa as it really is, it changes how we think about ourselves and how the world thinks about us. Correcting the map is correcting history. It's reclaiming our narrative. We were taught in school from Western textbooks that the maps on our classroom walls made Africa look tiny, while Europe looked like the center of the world. And that's not an accident. That's indoctrination. That's how you raise a people to believe that they're smaller while others are large. And for me, this campaign is about more than geography. It's about unlearning the lies of colonization. It's about raising our children to see the truth, that they come from a continent that is central and not marginal, and that Africa is the foundation of human civilization. If AU succeeds, it's not just about schools that will change, it's about global institutions. I mean, the World Bank is already shifting. The United Nations, NGOs, and even tech platforms like Google Maps will be pressured to follow suit. I mean, imagine opening up your GPS app and seeing Africa displayed in its true size for the first time. That's revolutionary. This is also about power and diplomacy. When African leaders sit at global tables, it matters whether their continent is seen as small or vast. Representation changes negotiation. And let's not even forget that 2025 is the AU's year of reparation, and correcting the map fits right into this bigger movement of Africa reclaiming stolen dignity, stolen wealth, and stolen power. I believe this isn't just for us in Africa, it is for the diaspora too. from Black American to Caribbean to Europe, our people have been taught to see Africa as small, as broken, and as irrelevant. And this distorted map is about a lie, right? But when the truth is taught, when you see Africa larger than North America, larger than China, larger than Europe, it reshapes identity and it connects the diaspora to a continent of strength. So I think that this is about Pan-Africanism. It's about unifying us under truth and not colonial fiction. Now, family, this may look like a simple map campaign, but I think it's so much deeper than that. It's about who controls the story of Africa. Because for centuries, others drew our maps, told our history, and they constantly defined our place in the world. And today, the AU is saying no more and correcting the map, I believe, means correcting perception. And correcting perception means reclaiming power. Africa's not small, Africa's mighty, and the world will finally see that. Now, I'm Naledi Mfoloe, reporting A, D, and C. Please, let's continue the conversation in the comment section. I really want to hear what your thoughts are on this. And while you're at it, don't forget to give this video a thumbs up. That's it from me. Till we meet again, it is bye-bye.